The Vietnam War was a long and expensive armed conflict that involved the Communist Organization of North Vietnam and their southern allies, the Viet Cong, against South Vietnam and their main ally, the United States. The Vietnam War began in 1954 after Ho Chi Minh and his communists, the Viet Minh Party, rose to power in North Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh was a hero in the eyes of the Vietnamese for uniting the North and South. Ho Chi Minh was a leader of the North Vietnamese War when the war with America began. Ho Chi Minh was born in 1890 into a well-off family given the conditions of the other families in Indochina. The resentment against the French started with his father, Nguyen Sen Sac. Since he refused to learn the French language, he was unable to teach. Due to this, he barely made any money and was soon introduced to the poor life. Nguyen became a nationalist who questioned the right of the French to control Vietnam. He later raised his children to believe the same. By the time Ho Chi Minh was a teenager, he shared his father's views, which was that Vietnam had a right to govern itself, free of foreign decree. Ho's sister worked for the French army, but only to steal weapons that would result in nationalist struggle against the French. However, she was caught and sentenced to life in prison. Ho Chi Minh eventually went to a French school and for a short period of time became a teacher. He then became a sailor and traveled to areas in the Far East. In 1918, Ho Chi Minh lived in Paris. While living in Paris, Ho converted to communism after learning about the mechanisms of Karl Marx. Ho became one of the founder members of the French Communist Party, which was founded in December of 1920. Ho believed communists had to make contact with the masses to awaken, organize, unite, and train them, and lead them to fight for freedom and independence. However, Ho could not return to Vietnam to tell this to his people without jeopardizing arrest by the French authorities. Therefore, Ho decided to live in China, near the Vietnam border. He then helped organize the Vietnam Revolutionary League, which was a group of other evacuated Vietnamese nationalists living in banishment. Ho then created the Viet Minh. The Viet Minh at this point in the war didn't expect the French to leave. They thought the Japanese would just take over, since they were fighting with the French at the time. Therefore, the Viet Minh took part in guerrilla warfare against the Japanese, which was controlled by Vo Nguyen Giap. Ho Chi Minh declared the creation of the Democratic Republic of Vietnam. However, France refused to recognize Ho's republic, which resulted in fighting in 1946. The French soon recommended terms to end the fighting, and the Battle of Dien Bien Phu of 1954 soon led to the French drawing out of Vietnam.
Ho Chi Minh's enduring legacy, in terms of his image and the way he is seen around the world, I think probably he's remembered perhaps more than anything else as the leader of probably the most successful movement for national liberation that we've seen in our century.
Ho Chi Minh accomplished an incredible feat in helping to free his country and unite it despite the opposition of France and the United States. This achievement required the efforts of a man who was part Lenin, part Gandhi, part Confucius, and all Vietnamese.
The victory was a big success for Ho Chi Minh and gave Vo a good reputation as an effective military leader. Ho Chi Minh was an essential man whose determination motivated the efforts of others and whose leadership excited the administration's support of Vietnamese in both sides of the 17th parallel. Ho Chi Minh was a heroic man in the eyes of his people, but our worst enemy. His achievements persuaded them to name streets, cities, and buildings after him. Ho Chi Minh maintained control of the North, and the North Vietnamese remained loyal to him through all the battles and the altercations because of this.